O'Donnell. I'm the parish priest for St. Stephen's with St. James in Chambly, and I also care for Grace Church in Lackady. Following the reopening plan that was developed with the diocese and the province, utilizing social distancing, also use of masks, washing hands, along with the questionnaire about do you have any symptoms, have you been around anyone that has been ill, and have you been out of the country in the last 2 weeks. They have actually taken an additional step too of taking the temperature without contact. When you're welcome to church here on Sunday, you come in. There are lines coming up the ramp, and 2 check-in stations where you are asked your questions, where you wash your hands, where you make sure your mask is in the right place, and then you're brought. You take a bulletin and you walk in, following the directional areas to take you to a seat. It would be taken to a seat, and as you're taken to your seat, then you're allowed to take your mask off as long as you're seating. We've also done a number of ways to limit contact with me, because when I'm up front and on mic, I'm not masked. But when I take communion around, we give communion in one kind, bread. It's a non-contact practice, so I will bring the bread around to each person. They remain seated with their mask on if they wish. I drop the bread into their palm without contacting, and then I step back. After I step back, they're encouraged to take their communion then. If by chance I happen to make contact with the skin, then what I will do is return to the altar and rewash my hands. I've used hand sanitizer so much that if I use any more, I'm worried I'm going to catch on flames. But that's the price to pay to keep myself and my folks safe. And we have more people coming in. That's great. Hey, Brenda. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Since the middle of March, we've worshipped almost exclusively online using a Facebook Live event. And this for the reason is that the familiarity with Facebook, and that most people have, even if they have challenge technology-wise, is that they can click on a link and get there. So we've done that each Sunday since then. I think there was 2 Sundays I was away, and then we've done a daily devotion called Bells of Hope, borrowed from Tim Weeb. He started that in Knowlton, so it seemed like a really good idea, and he said, "Can I steal this?" And he sort of smiled and said, "Go ahead." So it has been a gift to be able to do that. We certainly have reached and reaffirmed relationships with people really all across North America, and sometimes down into the States, but I still miss seeing people. One of the great gifts of being a parish priest is you're invited into people's lives, and you have an opportunity to celebrate with them, but also to grieve with them. And so I've got to know my flock pretty well, so wondering if how their treatment's going, or someone if their sugar's okay, or someone that's waiting for palliative care. It's really been difficult in this time, because I've been present in prayer, and I've been present by voice, and sometimes by telephone, but not in person. So I found that really difficult. Although we are allowed to go into hospitals now, although that may have changed this weekend, and I am able to do end-of-life care, which is in many ways a gift for both the family and myself. But so that's what we've been doing. And as we came to the opening, we asked the question about, do we want to stay online or do we want to submit the application and then see where we want to go. So we did. We put an application in for the first available opening. We came together in a small team to work out how we would keep everyone safe and what that would look like. So we walked through that, and we did morning prayer, also broadcasting live to Facebook for the first 2 weeks. At the end of the 2 weeks, that Sunday I asked, are you comfortable about going back to Eucharist? And the answer was, yeah, we would like to try it. And then the question was, do we stay in the hall or do we return to the church? And after a conversation, they felt, because they were practiced in the hall, they'd like to stay there for a while, which sort of surprised me, really. You know, we have a 200-year-old church this year. It is beautiful and well cared for, and they have put their time and money and sweat into caring for that. But to know that the relationship and keeping each other safer was more important than being in the building, really, I was really impressed by them. So we decided that 2 Sundays ago, we just started to have communion, and as we have communion, we have a discussion at either with the corporation or the people that are on the reopening team about, you know, how are things working and what do we need to change. So it really has been a process in developing and testing and questioning and feedback. So this has really been a team effort and continues to be. So far I've been actually quite well on how disciplined they've been. It's been a few missteps and a little nervous for about the first 10 days after a service, but so far they've done well, and I'm pleased with them.